They are going to have a live presentation, so feel free to share at your earliest convenience.
Yeah. Okay. So, I guess I will start sharing. Okay. And my whole desktop. Okay. Cool. Is this good? Can everyone see?
Yes,
Okay.
awesome. Thank
Cool.
you.
So I'll be going through this keynote slide. Um, but there's a bunch of links, so I'm gonna leave it in this mode if that's okay. I don't know if everyone can see it big enough still. I can also just make it bigger. Oops. Okay. So hello, I'm Marianne, and this is my capstone project. And yeah, so it's called Tympanum Energy V1, and it's a remaking of a WordPress website I made last year. So this is some art that I made. I was trying to make custom fonts, which was very ambitious, and it's in the works still, but that's what this kind of like crazy artwork is. Okay, so Tympanum also, is this blocking this like little zoom thing? I don't know if anyone else can see it but me. Okay, so this is, so I'm gonna move, oops, sorry, I'm losing my mouse. Oops. Okay, this is really weird. Um, okay, okay, it's fine. Okay, okay, there we go. My mouse was lost. So this is a little overview of the old website that I had. It's still up technically, but I did some DNS stuff that really messed things up. So the website is still live and it looks the same, but the HTML is all messed up and the pictures are gone because I like changed the hosting. So yeah, it used to be hosted on Hostinger, but then I tried to switch over to like AWS, and then that's where things kind of got crazy. But this here on the side is a video of it playing like going through all the pages with all the pictures, and that was made with WordPress. So yeah, it's just using prompts that I made based on this story that I have, and then yeah, I put those prompts into AI image generators. Like I used OpenAI Dolly and also Dolly Mini through Hugging Face. Um, but yeah, so, and then I manually added everything through WordPress. So yeah, this project was yeah, kind of just a continuation of that, but a chance to take it a step further and to gain more control of the website, because WordPress is a really popular CMS that a lot of people use. And you can edit the code. They have like their code editors, but there's just like some things about it that make it a little less flexible compared to like doing it from scratch. So that's what I did here. And the goal is just to, yeah, iterate on that previous version and to combine my love of storytelling and creativity and putting that into a website. So yeah. So the planning process was like it went on for the first like 2/3, I think, but I think the last 2/3 I kind of just started working and ignoring a lot of the plans. I would check in here and there about on like the mock-ups and diagrams that I made, but like yeah, these are just different kind of things I made to help me organize myself, but I didn't really end up sticking to like any of it. And in the file, the in the Finder, all the files, like those are all folders of like different project iterations I made. Like I just restarted so many times with different tech stacks and with different changes and kept on making like yeah, just new versions of things. So kind of a maximalist approach there. Yeah, so I was doing the UX, UI planning, and just like general project planning with Figma and Linearity Curve, also known as Vectornator. And then some technologies I tried and but scrapped were using Fast API, which is a Python API framework, in Flask, and then trying Next.js for like API routing and things like that. Um, and then codecs to just help with like building React components, and Tailwind for CSS. But ultimately, I didn't end up using any of those things, but I gave it a shot. So the front end, what I did end up using was Vite to configure the React project, and then TypeScript and some JavaScript and HTML in there too, CSS, Axios, and Blur Hash. Blur Hash is just like a random little thing that like just kind of like makes the images blurry when they're not fully loaded. And then I have all the code on my GitHub on this repo, and I have a few different branches. Okay, and then the inspiration for the front end was this website. I like how they had like this grid and this kind of like they just in their website, and more so I guess in their album art, and they just like always have posters and they have a bunch of merch and they use a lot of primary colors, which I really liked. And this one album that I'm kind of pointing to is called LW, and they have like this blue and um yellow color scheme that I really like a lot. So I was kind of inspired that for like the yeah, just the front end loosely. Um, and then the back end, I ended up using Node, JavaScript, Express, Postgres, PG Vector, Axios, the OpenAI images, and embeddings API. And then also towards the end of the last stretch of working on things, I like made a switch to AWS, and that was like pretty crazy, but it ended up working. Yeah, and PG Vector is a Postgres extension that just allows you to store vector information into Postgres columns. So yeah, so the features that I have are being able to generate an image from a prompt, being able to delete the image, and that's just on the front end so far, and then being able to create a custom prompt and title and category. I'll show the actual website and get into that later, and you'll see what that means. And then, yeah, create the image from the prompt that you just created. So, and then also everything is saving to the database. So I'll also show as I generate a prompt, it'll save to the database. And the backend can also create vector embeddings, but that's not, I took it out of the front end because people, yeah, don't really need to see that. And then, yeah, so I guess I will get into the demo now. This is the front end, which is running through Vite and Yarn, and the back end, which since it's connected to the AWS, like I use the RDS services, which is like their database, relational database manager. And so it's through an SSH connection. So it says I'm Ubuntu. But yeah, it's running here. You can see that. So yeah, so this is the database. Like, well, this is a Postgres extension, which is really nice. But it's showing the most recent. It's just showing um, all of the data. But yeah, so let's see. This is the this is the website. The backend is deployed through all the AWS stuff, but the front end is still not deployed. I tried to deploy it on Vercel last night, but like I just have so many TypeScript errors, and I'll have to fix that. But anyway, so this is a homepage. It's just a repeating image that was actually created by Dolly Mini like last year. So the generate page is where we can generate the images like I was talking about. And then the explore page is one that I need to keep going on, but it's just this is the page that's really inspired by this page, where this is all their album releases. And I just like the organization. So I kind of like copied that a little bit. So right now I have it so that when you click it, it auto pops up this little like message, which is just the name of the thing right now. But it will eventually be more like this, where each thing that I click like will have like a little page for each thing, because I have like a bunch of art and music that I have already made and then I'm working on still. So I'm gonna have each one of these tiles be their own pages. But that's in the future. This is just a simple about page. Yeah, so let's get on to the generating demo. So these popped down and the CSS was, I kind of like, that was a takeaway, is just like trying to get it as good as possible to just make it not hurt my eyes, but also not be perfect because this is a little bit more of a back end project, even though I still really care about the design. But yeah, so we can do like um uh cute frog with thought bubble and in generating the image and we can oops, I'm sorry. I was just trying to open the inspector. So it shows like where um the network shows the request and then the inspector or the console. So yeah, so we have the image now. That was so pretty much this image was retrieved from the OpenAI API, and then it gets uploaded to the AWS service, and then it gets retrieved, and then it gets rendered onto the front end. So yeah, and it will stay there even if I refresh the page, and it will delete, but the delete function is just on the front end, so it actually still shows up when I refresh. But yeah, so that's how it works for these prompts that I already made. So I pretty much did some just like document parsing to, I had like all of these documents in different file formats, but then I turned one of them into a JSON that pretty much just had all of these. So I call these things categories, like character, species, food, settings. And I call like each one of these kind of like names, titles, which is like maybe categories and subcategories would be better, but that's just kind of like how I named it for this iteration. So yeah, they each, I think there's like about 35 titles, and then they all have like anywhere from a few to like 10 different prompts. So like yeah, so, and then they also render in the specific category that they're in. So the status message still shows up for all of them, like in each one, but like this is a food prompt, so it shows up in the food category. And I was trying to get the images just to show up in the I was trying to make a component just for each like title. Like this one would have its own little kind of like gallery like this and having it like move on an x-axis like a scroll bar, but that was like way too hard fruit. It's actually like is a mangosteen. So yeah, so those are all the custom prompts. And then yeah, so these just like are doing their thing. And then this is where you can create a custom image. So I'll just say like cool presentation. This is in the nice category, sweet or sweet category, nice title. So create custom image and it will create the image and oh yeah. And also, yeah, I can delete it. And this, so let me do this again. So this will this one, unlike these that persist when I refresh, I just have these, I just have like, this actually doesn't persist when I refresh, so the delete button doesn't really do anything. But anyways, like I kind of created these crazy, okay, I'm kind of going over time, but I created these really crazy components that are just so linked together. So like making the changes was really hard on the front end. But anyway, so we can see like here is, I'll just run this again. So this extension is really nice. I forget exactly what it's called, but maybe I can post it. But if you press S5 to like, oops, or F5 to run the query, it will, yeah. So it shows like all of these custom prompts that I just made and all the other prompts that I clicked. So it shows, and so it's saving the S3 image to the database from the OpenAI URL. Originally, it just had the OpenAI URL, but that's just like an image, or that's just a URL that's only valid for an hour. But here with the AWS images, they're stored in my S3 bucket, and I can see them no matter what. So yeah, it shows like the timestamp and it shows like it's not custom, it's not a random prompt, but these last two were custom prompts, so it says true. And yeah, so and then yeah, and then these links like they go to the actual image. So we can just like see that it's there. Yeah. And then yeah, so okay, that's how that works. Yeah, and then let's go back to the presentation. I feel like that took kind of a long time. So anyways, there's all these things I'm kind of working on still, and it's just in the dev branch. And this is all public now on GitHub. So just yeah, on the dev branch of these two repos. Oh, this is supposed to be the front end. So there's like yeah, the front end repo and the back end repo. Um, yeah, they both have the dev branches, which have the newer changes that I'm working on. So just the backend's deployed, but yeah, still need to get the front end deployed, fix all the TypeScript stuff, fix all the DNS stuff that I messed up. There's just like all this other stuff also. And then so takeaways. Oh sorry, time. Okay. Um, yeah, so just like don't be a hoarder with the code, just like delete things that don't work, just make it look good enough to keep going and just make things more modular. Don't be afraid to jump around. Sometimes it pays off and just commit on different branches. And that's it. Okay, thank you. Sorry, I'm over time. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much for showing that. That was very creative and
That was
complex.
really long. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. No, I mean it was a lot to show. Like you did so much, like the vectors, and then like the what's it called, like generating images and working with the open AI. So I'm happy that you went through it and you were able to show us everything. We can spare a question or two. Does anyone have a question for Colleen and that wonderful app? Abby said, "How was it working with the open AI?"
Oh, actually, it was really nice. Like it was really good. I think their documentation is like not, it is like not the most in depth, but what they do have works. Like they have like in most, they have a bunch of different models and a bunch of different endpoints to post to and to use, and they have like Node examples and Java and Python examples, and all the ones that I tried like worked, and they explain just like the request and response bodies pretty well. Yeah, so I think it was really good, and like yeah, I feel like they have like concise but good documentation, and there's also a lot of people building on top of OpenAI right now. So there's also a lot of things, a lot of answers out there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And then, I have a question. When is your music going on there?
Oh my gosh, I have to figure that out. I have to keep making it. So I'm actually gonna make like little like 30-second little like theme songs for each thing.
Hmm.
But that's gonna take a while. So I'm just
Okay,
gonna end as
please,
like a little player. But yeah.
please keep me updated on that. I'm always excited to hear your music.
Yeah, thank you. Well, thank you. Sorry again for going over time, but yeah.
No problem. Everyone give Colleen a round of applause and congratulations on working on that wonderful app. Next, we are going to have Angela and her transit alert app. So, Angela, feel free to take over when ready.
Mm, Sorry. Hello, everyone. So I'll be sharing an unfinished app, but um, I will go through my presentation starting with this. Okay. Okay.
Gonna be Canva, and then there will be a video in there. So I'll share my screen. And where it, sorry. Okay. Can everybody see that?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so Agnes can start it off.
Sure. So
This is our Ada Capstone project. We created an application called Musical, and it was created by me. I'm Agnes. I use she, her pronouns, and then Sid.
Hi, I'm Sydney. I also